Hello everybody, my name is Elenator and welcome back to Ultimate Minecraft Polyworld, and at last we made it the full release of 1.15. Only took us 7 pre-releases. It's nighttime, we gotta catch some Z's, reset the weather timer. Alright, so here we are, next to our little bee area, with our one singular nest, of which I was really hoping I would have more, but that's okay, maybe another time. Howdy potato, welcome back. That was a buzz telling me I've started streaming. Alright, so we currently have 1 honey bottle, and I realize we need 4 to make the honey block. And huzzah. I already got the first one because I realized this was going to take a while. But if I'm right, this takes 4. Hooray! Now I have a honeycomb block. This is going into the block museum. And that's probably right about where we sit because this is going to have to take a while until we can get the next one. Because we'll need to wait around for this to go up again. So, with all that taken care of, let me head back in here real fast. So, beehive, bee nest, honey block, honeycomb. Are those only 4 blocks added? I feel like I'm missing 1 more. I'm gonna need to verify. Beehive, bee nest, honey block, honeycomb. Honeycomb block. Interesting. I forget the honeycomb block exists, because I'm used to the honey and whatnot. Anyways, not important. The beehive is next, so that's where we get another whopping 3. So let me find, yeah, I should say 3 of the honeycombs plus 3 of the nests. Maybe I should have looked into bee breeding, because if I have multiple bees now, and if I put a nest inside, sorry, if I put a beehive inside, does that function in the same way as the bee nest, other than it's not naturally generated? Because if so, if I could get more bees without having to go find more bee nests, this would make things nice for me. Alright, well, one thing at a time. Also, I'm not entirely sure about performance, but it feels like it might be running slightly better than back when I first started playing in the pre-releases. Well, of course, we have to check something. Functionally the same thing? Alright, cool, Leo. Then yeah, I'll put the nest in, or the beehive in there. Alright, so, here's the question. Do I still have a chunk border issue? I saw that. I don't think it's as bad, though. No, just kidding. Yeah, it's still a problem. Never mind. So when you say breed them with flowers, do I just straight up try to feed them the flowers? Or flowers I'm not concerned about. I currently have 3 in there, so I'll take a couple of these. Let me grab some planks real fast. I'll update the block museum more later. But first thing, I'm going to want more bees to make the honey faster. Why do I have brown wool and white? Oh wait, hold on. I know. It's because I needed the stuff. Hold on. Let's go pass by the sheep farm again real fast. What was the other color I needed? Red? I think it's brown and red. And then of course white. Inventory management, yeah. Yep, brown and red. And I guess blue if I wanted. What did I use? What did I last use what did I last use blue wool for? I can't remember. So blue, brown, and red. And white. At some point, I'll need to combine the shears and get new ones. Oh, this guy didn't finish eating yet. Guess I haven't been around long enough for the chunks to remain loaded for the sheep to get hungry again. Oh well. But let's go plop in the beehive, breed the bees, and then hope that they know the bee nest already has 3, so hopefully they'll go to the beehive, which will have another 3 slots available. Since after this we should have 4 bees. Ah, I was enjoying speed. I'll need to get more beacons. Maybe that's what I'll do today. I still have more bee work to do, but I think they're going to take a while. I guess if I were spending time in Nether, then the chunks over here would not be loaded. Alright, well anyways, let me set that down. Huzzah! Alright, so with that taken care of, we wait. We wait for 2 bees to pop out. Hopefully not very long. How do you level at? 50. Alright, cool. Do. You know what I could have done? I could have chopped down every tree that didn't spawn with the bee nest. Howdy. Pop back at you. How long do we have to wait for bees again? I was just here, they were flying around. And now they don't feel like it. I understand that is a rather slow process. I wonder if they're currently making the honey now. Was campfire smoke always brown? Or it's not brown gray? For some reason I thought it was white. Maybe it was always this dark. Come on, bees. Two times a day or once per day cycle. Am I gonna have to sleep to reset it? Oi. Yeah, this is why I need more bees than just 3. You know, while I'm here, where would I want to put up the next ones? Hello. There we go. Alright, cool. Alright. Time to make more. There are even baby bees? For some reason I thought there would have only been... For some reason I thought there were only adult bees. But now that they're all done, we are going to... Decisions. I guess I collect the honeycomb this time, and the next time we'll work on the thingy. Alright, well, anyways, let's verify that the bees go to where they need to be. If all 4 of them have disappeared, I'm gonna take it to mean that one of them did indeed go into the beehive. I'll need to keep track of the amount of bees I have to make sure that I have plenty of beehives and nests for all the bees. Alright, well, either way, with that all taken care of now, we're gonna head back, put away this wool, and grab a bunch of coal, and go all the way to the... What did I used to call it? The blacksmith hut? The place where all the furnaces are. Oh, I'm pretty sure that's the blacksmith hut, but I can't remember if I ever officially put down a sign there. But first, let me set all this down real fast. Howdy and welcome back. Yeah, I'll be making a return with one more bee nest. No, beehive. I keep wanting to call the bee nests the beehives. Because in my mind, it feels like it should be the other way around. Oh well. Well, that way I could support up to 12 bees, and so I could focus on collecting the honey in bottles first. It's rather nice that it only takes 4 honey to create the block and not 9, like slime balls. Then again, if you think about it, one cauldron is filled with one bucket of water. You can take 3 bottles out, 3 bottles of water out of the cauldron. Therefore, 1 water is normally only worth 3 bottles. And so it takes 4 bottles of honey instead of 3 to make 1 block. You get the glass bottles back afterward, right? Oop. Let's set that up, catch some Z's, reset the weather timer. And my preview looks fine. Let me set that back to live. Alright, back to work. Toss that, grab 3 more planks, or 6. At some point I'll need to find a place for all this honey stuff. Alright, that can be put away. I can probably just put the honeycomb block straight back into the block museum. I don't think I need it now. Can these be deconstructed? No, I didn't think so. That's alright. In fact, maybe I'll put this one in the block museum. Alright, so yeah, let's put the wool away. Oh wait, hold on. Before we put the wool away, let me be smart, grab all the coal. I don't remember how much I needed, so we'll just grab all of this. Because I can't remember if I ended up grabbing the rest of the glass that I was cooking. Because I had a lot of glass over here in the blacksmith hut. But I don't think I ever grabbed all of it. I think I only pulled out 48 out of 64 per furnace. Anyway, not important. And I was correct. Oh, in fact, hold on. While we're here, we're going to be smart about this. Let me clean my armor. I'm going to put that in my offhand. We are going to repair the elytrite. Even though I don't think this is super effective. But we're going to go for it anyway. I don't think glass gives a lot of XP, but I might as well take what I can. That way I don't have to repair it later. I should say repair it less later. Well, that was an improvement. 15 only has 15.1 and 15.2. 15.1 has 1 pre-release, 15.2 has 2. So we have another week left in 1.15. I think. There's 1 pre-1, 1, 2 pre, or I should say 2 pre-1, 2 pre-2, and then 2. So after today, 5. So yeah, next week. Next week will be 1.16. Maybe while I'm here, I might as well make the other 4 campfires, now that I know what I'm doing. 12 logs, 12 sticks, 4 coal. An old hard drive from 2020? That's not that old, that's only 5 years. This is the guy who has hard drives from 15 years ago. Oh, last used in 2020. Alright, that makes more sense. I don't think I have any 2013 survival worlds still around. I have a 2018 survival world that's still technically active. I also have... That might be it. I don't know if I have any world. I have creative worlds. One from 2015 that is still active. But I don't think I have any survival worlds from that time. Oh well. Yeah, 2015 to 2020 was 5 years. 2020 to now was also 5 years. Howdy to you as well. Welcome back. And I forgot to put away the white wool. In fact, let's see. This is 104. How about I grab the other shears now? Hiccup. Oh, that's nice. They're both at 104. Good job, me of the past. There we go. Much better. If you accidentally downloaded malware on it, you could use it externally. Unless you're talking it's an external drive. 2013 1019. You even know the day. I wonder if I should just have a wool chest over here. Nah, I'll keep them in the warehouse. Or else I'm gonna lose track of it. .7 might have released by October 19th. I don't remember the release date. If it was made in 1.6.4, 1.7 was about to come out. I should say 1.7.2. One 1.7.2 is the latest version in the versions folder. Wouldn't that mean the oldest version in the versions folder? Alright, so with all that taken care of, let me lob that down. Oh, hello. Did I just not pick this up? For some reason, I thought I got less honeycombs than normal, and I thought, oh, I guess it just wasn't ready. Wait. Have you really not updated since 1.7.2? Because you were right, that was the oldest. Or that is the latest. Have you been playing on 1.7 for 12 years? 1.7.2? You should have at least updated to 1.7.4. And I think after looking at all of these, I want them on the intersection. I was in your old Minecraft. Oh, I see. I need... There it is. Alright, well, now we have all 8 of the, campfire. Almost called it a fire pit. We have all 8 of the campfires in place. So now I'm all set for whenever I get the rest of the thingies. And let's see. Any more bees popping out soon? Now would be a great time to do so. Oh wait, I don't have the flowers to breed them. Maybe I should keep extra flowers over here. One 1.21.6 hasn't come out yet. Haven't we started the pre-releases? Hold on, let me go back. Let me go get a couple more flowers. It'd be rather convenient if I could breed them using the double tall plants. We're gonna find out. Experimentation time. Because I don't want to run out of tiny flowers. Those are limited. I have to go out and find some more. Or grow them. I didn't realize how low on food I was getting. Although we'll have to go get some more as well. Back, forth, back, forth, back, forth. So with this old hard drive you found, are you gonna plug it in, see what's on there? You might be surprised. Already did. Did you find anything interesting? Hold on that, hold on to that. Howdy to you as well. Let me go get some food. It's really sad that this is the amount of cooked bacon I have left. I want to say I used to go down to here. I don't think we ever filled up the third one. Okay, while I'm here, let me find... We're going to take some of you. And then if not... Alright, time to catch some Z's, reset the weather timer. You're going to the grocery store again so quickly. Didn't you just go on Friday? Do you go to the store every few days? Oh. I was gonna say, if you really have to go to the store so quickly, that sounds rather inefficient. If you're saying I don't go to the store every few days, does that mean you do go to the store every few days? Because the folks over here go to the store about once a week, or every couple weeks. The snapshots for 1.7 also started before 1.6.3 came out. So it's possible to go from 1.6.2, get some 1.7 features, go back to 6.3 and 6.4, then get more 1.7 features. In fact, I accidentally did that on one of my creative worlds. That's okay. I learned from the mistake. Alright, let me zoink. There we go. It won't break the world, it will just cause some problems. Hello. There's one bee. Come on, I need another one. Do. I know I have 4. Where are they? Come on, bees, where are you? Ah, if that bee is still a baby, I wonder if that means the other bees are not going to be ready to breed yet. Because if this one's still a small fry, how much time has actually passed? Okay, hold on. Well, that's nice. They can breed with the thingies. Oh, there we go. Oh wait, that was a small one. Well, now that I know they can breed with the double tall plants, I'm gonna hold on to all the small ones. Alright, I'm looking around. Alright, well, I guess I'll just let them keep doing what they're doing. Back, forth, back, forth. I don't plan on making an auto bee farm. I don't need to automate everything. Why play Minecraft if Minecraft plays itself? The point of playing Minecraft is to play Minecraft, I feel. That's at least the point of this world. Alright, so with that taken care of, I think I'm gonna grab a bunch of bone meal, stockpile a chest, that way I can keep growing the double tall plants. Baby. Terrible puns every day. The game isn't mad at you, you're doing something wrong. Does that not mean everyone's doing something wrong then? Or I should say the vast majority of players. Where? For some reason, I always lose track of the colored wool chest, even though it never moves. Alright, so I have that taken care of. We'll let the farm just do its own thing. I don't want to go out try to find any other additional nests. Bone meal is over here. I guess I could just grab a whole stack of bones. Just how many flowers do I expect to require? I think now, maybe this is the time where I figure out how, or I should say figure out where I want to put all this stuff. So how about we head over here and start leaving some of the items behind. I don't think I have the space just yet though. Or I should say enough slots to plop down more signs. I'm consistent in my building style because I'm a very straightforward thinker. Alright, so yeah, we're gonna leave honeycombs there. We're gonna ignore that those are blocks. We're also gonna have honey here. We're also gonna ignore any honey blocks. Gonna hold on to this because I'll need to make that block soon. But one thing at a time. Let's go back down, grab another chest. Hopefully I still have plenty already available. The reason why I feel like InfDev Plus worlds can't be loaded in those versions is for the reason of what they're doing, how smart they were trying to be with converting data values, block IDs and data values, just how much compatibility there was. It's all about backwards compatibility, I'll say in the software space. I feel like something changed in 0.3 with the world format, but I can't remember. If you mean other log types for InfDev Plus, the vast majority of InfDev Plus block IDs get turned into something random because Notch had no future proof. Not Notch, Method this time. Method had no future proofing, and so, sure, the blocks were added in vanilla later, but they all have different block IDs, with the exception of one of them, coincidentally, happened to have the same block ID, and I can't remember. But yeah, all data values are 0. Interesting. Alright, I've returned. So we'll go for you, I suppose. Stream buffering? It's probably something on your end. I'm seeing 0 drop frames. I'll grab all that, and then I'll keep the storage right out here. Maybe I'll just set it right there. Alright, I now have B recreators. Oh, is it that time again? Hey, this one started filling up as well. Alright, cool. So let me... Oh, you know what I did? I put away all the glass bottles. I was supposed to hold on to that honey, because I needed it. Oops. I was supposed to hold on to the other 3 honey bottles, because I was supposed to create the block over here. Why do the hives look weird? Kinda like the nest. They're rather low detail. You could see that the colors used is rather low compared to something like grass, which uses a lot of different values. Yeah, same thing over here. You could see that all of this section right here is all one color. That, along with all of this is another color. They are not as noisy. They're rather flat, if that's what you're referring to. You were the one talking about elections, bringing politics into the conversation. I laughed because we were talking about the texture of the beehive. A UFO island on a pillar? Is that just from the natural generation of late InfDev? If you've been bored lately, I don't think you've been doing life correctly. Alright, while I'm here, I might as well just get the goods. Okay, so yeah, I picked up one. Where are the others? There they go. It has a tree on it? Interesting. The UFO is abducting the tree. We hear about aliens abducting people and cows. Do aliens ever abduct plants? Oh wait, hold on. You know what, here, let me just grab a bunch of these. Where's the small fry? Come on, buddy, time to grow up. How many plants does it need to make a baby bee become an adult? Apparently this whole process is a lot slower than what it was feeling. Well, either way, I can make another beehive. That one I'll put in the block museum, since we currently have, I think, 3 in there. 1 nest and 2 hives. Having a not fun ISP is indeed not fun. Tetris portable e-waste. I don't know what that's supposed to mean. What part of the blocks generated with smooth stone again in the strongholds? And how did that change? Were they just trying to get all the block IDs properly put over and they ended up doing the wrong one? I also don't remember seeing the villages, but I remember hearing about that for strongholds. Oh, the double stone slabs, I see. The reason why they probably changed it is because these aren't how strongholds used to be. I don't know, don't quote me on that. I don't know if they gave a reason. Oh well. I put the goods. Here they are. I'll take that, thank you. Hooray, the first honey block. I'm gonna leave that down there. I'm leaving these over at the item side because I don't feel like having. Oh wait, hold on. Isn't there advancement for going across the side of a one? Well, I don't feel like taking block space since we have way too many blocks and not enough items. Alright, so this one can now go into the block museum. Do I have the list? I don't have the list. The bee nest is probably going to be one of the last things because the honeycomb block, which I just put up top. Hold on, let me go get that. The honeycomb block, honey block, and the beehive can all be placed into the block museum quickly. But the bee nest will be a little more challenging because I need to make sure that there are no bees inside. Smoothstone was creative only until 1.14. Why did they just not add the way to cook it yet until 1.14? Alright, there we go. To the block museum. That makes 1.13 slightly less fun. Jokes and text do not correlate well. I was anticipating, you should play my style. But no, I'll just deal with it being slow since I just want to collect enough blocks for the block museum and have at least one hive or nest at all 8 of the trees, and then we'll go from there. Alright, where's my staircase? Oh, it's over there. We're gonna take the safe way down, even though it's not really the safe way because there's no handrail. This is a step larger than, was it 4 inches? It was either 4 inches or 6 inches. Any step larger than 4 or 6 inches requires a handrail, so says OSHA. And I really can't remember which it was, because it's been a while since I last looked. Someone made a video about all the things, all the OSHA violations for, I think it was Portal. Alright, let me think. How do I want to do this? I guess I'll put the nest here. No, the hive there. Then the honeycomb block. The honey block will be here. And then this is where the hive will go. Well, we're halfway done with the block museum and several more days left. So I'll probably just let the bees do their stuff for a while, hope that the chunks are loaded long enough. So that way I can breed them again. Well, I'll do that later. What does Safeway have to do with grocery store shopping? I need to put the egg away and my slime balls and the other thingies. Then we'll get working on work. I can't say I've ever seen or heard of a Safeway. I shouldn't have jumped. Where's the way out of here? Good job, me of the past, making this dock. I don't know if I have them down here either. If I do, I'm just not out and about enough. I'm sure Google would tell me, oh, I'll take the slime balls. I need the goods. Good job, Golem Army. Alright, we're all set. Keep on moving. I don't know how external blocks works within a debug world. Because every slot already allocated has to be, or I should say, it's constantly filled with that exact block. However, I don't know about every other slot. Nope. Maybe I'll visit the end real fast to get all my stuff repaired. Do I put the bottles away? No, hold on to them for now. At some point they'll be useful. Yep, alright. Let's head on back. Let me grab the boat. We'll be needing this. To the portal. Away. Oh wait, I think the sun's going down. Maybe we'll catch some of these first. Then we'll head all the way to the end. What day are we on? 6,126. There are no Safeways? Maybe there used to be. Alright, come on, Zelamoon, rise. Eyes turn red, you can go to bed. Bounce, bounce, bounce. Doing a thing the doctor said not to do. Jump on the bed. There we go. Eyes did not turn red, but I could still go to bed. Alright, away we go. Zoom! I can't remember the last time I jumped on the bed either. The thing with me is, I've had a bunk bed for years. I physically cannot jump on my bed. I can't even stand up on my bed. On either half, I should say. It's so nice seeing that pig spawner. Means I don't have to deal with silverfish anymore. And this was so fast to load. I wonder if it was just slow on 1.14 or if that was just a chunk loading thing. But I remember in 1.14 it would take a lot longer to get here to the end. This was zoop. It's almost like I'm playing 1.0 again. Oh, did he just Okay, no. I really thought that I placed the boat down and the Enderman walked on in. Because that would have been not fun. And hopefully it's not too long. And poof. There we go. Right on cue. Chunks will load when I gave the word. Or would load, I should say. Alright, let's... You know what, here, hold on, let me grab... I never disenchanted these. I kind of forgot about that. Maybe if I remember, I'll do that here. I don't particularly need these. Alright, let's get the elytra first. So it has a an equivalent brand down here. So the safe way is up there in Northern California. Interesting. Alright, well that's all nice and completed. Next, said the bank teller. If you can find what the other brand is for down here, I can tell you whether or not I've encountered them. Every time I hear Safeway, though, I think Safe Flight. Safe Flight Repair, Safe Flight Replace. I don't need this pearl. It's called Vaughn's. Vaughn's and Albertsons. I've been to both of those, I think. Uh-oh, you're mad at me. Uh-oh. Oh, there we go. 1449. Back to your... While all that's going on, how would I turn this down? I didn't realize just how low my sounds were over here. There we go, that's better. Oh. You know, while I'm here, how about I also do some book enchanting? Surely there's new stuff, right? I wouldn't be surprised if store brands were other quality checks. Or I should say did not pass the primary quality checks. Oh yeah, I'm gonna let the Enderman stockpile again. Oh wait, should I? No, if I go up to 52. In fact, yeah, I'll do it now. If I just do all the enchanting now, then that means I'll start getting the XP again faster. I don't know what all these books are going to be used for, but someone might find them useful. Oh, here they are. Whoever downloads this world in the future might find them useful. See, look. Can't remember the last time I spent a lot of time enchanting over here, which means we could get some of the new 1.13 plus stuff. I guess 51 was divisible by... Apparently, yeah, the stream did have a big... I'm gonna stop uploading. I looked over and OBS said absolute 0. I don't even know if y'all heard the last one I said. But I just did some, I just enchanted some books. Midnight Monster said jump. No kidding. Oh, here, I'll do the shovel next. I'm not uploading anything. I'm uploading the, OBS is uploading the stream data to YouTube. I'm not uploading anything else. At least I'm not supposed to. I haven't told any other program, hey, send data to the internet. The only thing I have running is the stream. Discord's open, but that's not active. That's more of a passive data user, I would hope. I don't know, maybe it just said, I'm gonna send a bunch of telemetry data right now. One day I'll make, one day there will be official bitrate monster art. That was one and done. Oh, I didn't even need to do that. Alright, well, that was all nice and taken care of. And soon, I won't have to worry about taking my armor off. 1.16 finally makes that nicer. Soon. Soon. Alright, well, let's put the sword away. Or, here, since we might as well do it now, we're going to take these two swords back with us and do some disenchanting. Now, let me just move all this over. I could also bring the grindstone over here, I guess, if I wanted. Alright, well, either way, we're going to put these books back where they belong. And so that one's armor. There was I think it was a data pack and resource pack that added a different texture for every type of enchanted book. And so that would be rather useful, as I think to myself, all of these books, trying to figure out which one is which is really slow. Oh wait, hold on, power is also a bow enchantment. Unlicensed copy and message. The only time I've ever gotten that I remember through regular playing is 1.6 test build 3. Where's Sweeping Edge? Do I not have Sweeping Edge on here? Maybe I just didn't have any books for it. Alright, well, close enough. So yeah, I'll take those two swords back, disenchant, and eventually I'll bring them back here. Alright, let me think. When you say generates correctly, you're talking about the bug you were referring to earlier. Because that could just be they are working on block IDs. And so that's what caused the change. Did they slow down how long? I wonder if they slowed down the orb pickup process. Now, very well could have just been a conversion thing when they were working on namespace stuff. Alright, hold on, let me put these ender pearls away. Boop. Oh, I'm getting hungry already. Nom 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 nom. Alright, one more book. And I don't quick charge. Alright, hold on. Where does quick charge go? This is a crossbow enchantment, right? I'll put it up here next to piercing. Alright, anyways, now I think we're all set. We can head back. It's all the little things. Run here, run there, run everywhere. So the nether stripes were the primary snapshots from right before 14W26 and then 14W27. Interesting. Keep backups of your worlds, kids, for when snapshots go wrong. And I don't... See? I knew it. This happened I was expecting this to happen last time. Hello. Goodbye. Ah, that didn't knock him off. Yes, I know you're still mad at me. I don't particularly want your pearls, but I'll take them. Oh wait, hold on. Here's a use for them. Hiya! This way I don't have to run. That's nice. Okay, I probably didn't need to waste that second one though. Homebed is missing or obstructed. Why is it dark over here? Did I not put the torches? Alright, hold on. Let me... Oh, nope. Alright, we are gonna catch some Z's, reset the weather timer. And every once in a while, my arm still swings over. Why does it do that? Wonder if that ever gets fixed. Alright, anyways, back to work. Alright, so we're gonna look at the to-do list. Because I feel like I recently put something on there that I wanted to do other than the slime block bounce castle. Because I'm still in the process of that. The amount of effort required getting the world to work afterward was not worth it for me. And let me go try to find my grindstone. Hold on, yeah, ender pearl first, then grindstone. I don't think I kept one over here. I have the saw, the stone cutter. That's what I have. The amount of steps required. This isn't in dev. If you had done it yourself, I would have considered. Because then if you could do it, then surely so can I. If you did, then I've already forgotten. Yeah, I don't know where I left that grindstone. I think it's over next to the original enchantment area. Truth be told, with the amount of enchantment tables and the amount of bookshelves I have, I might as well build more enchanting rooms. Maybe I'll put one at the other city, even though this one's not technically a part of Endevia Plateau. Not unless I started taking more advantage of this area I'm currently in. If I had a few buildings right around here, then it might all be part of one city. Why does the XP spawn in the back? I wonder if it's biased towards the, that corner. Anyways, not important. Alright, I need put these swords away and see how many swords I currently have in the chest, because I don't think I do. We probably are not ever going to have another E snapshot for the reason of Mojang is a lot slower in their updates. That includes snapshots. They're not going to rush out these faster and would prioritize making them smaller with better quality control. Alright, so now I think I'll keep the glass bottles on me, but alas, I can put the elytra away, since that's been... I've only been keeping that on me for whenever I needed to repair it, but now that it's repaired, we can move forth. Once I figure out where I left all this stuff. Oh wait, huzzah, there we go. Alright, to the to-do list. Away. I say because I don't entirely remember what I wanted to do next. Does not my voice fluctuate under standard circumstances? And I'm still rather sad that the torches right at the chunk border disappeared. Because on each side of the chunk border, all these torches broke, and I don't know why. Because I liked having these torches here. Alright, anyways, what was the last thing I added? Slime Bounce Castle is still in progress because I ran out of slime for that. That entire wall is completed. Good job, me of the past. I have the Block Museum, which I don't know when I'll get to. Maybe before I publish the World Archive for Part 4. Maybe I'll finally take the time to do that, since that's just going to be boring. And then there's also Nerve HQ, otherwise I'm all done over here. The supermarket. That's right, I never finished the Zelenako. I never built the shelves. I wanted big orange shelves, but I don't know if I'm going to build them out of orange wool. I have a fair amount of orange wool, but I don't have that much. We might just go wood. Wooden shelves. I have this plan. I have this image in my mind for how I want the shelves to be. I just need to make sure I can build them in a way that feels satisfactory. Alright, I need a lot of wood. In fact, how do I steal this real fast? Nope, let's not do that. We're gonna fill up the entire shulker box of logs. I don't know how many logs I'm gonna need, but we're gonna start here. And then, in fact, how about I take another one for planks? When you say a working shopping system, I don't plan on having anything other than the shelves will probably have chests. That's why I don't want to just build a bunch of towers of chests. That won't feel normal enough. And so I want to have proper shelves and then have some chests on them. And then anyways, once the items are acquired for the checkout system, I just plan on doing the regular lines. Or if you're British, you say the word queue. Alright, I think if I have all the wood, let me grab a few of the demonstrator chests. I think you only think you write like ChatGPT because of how much you speak to ChatGPT. Q does have 4 extra letters. Technically it has about 3.5 extra letters if you want to spell Q as in C-U-E. I did not catch that Java joke because I don't write in Java. And I'm not a coffee person. Alright, so we needed to find the chest. So we have 42. 42k was the Copa fine. Hello. Alright, let's get back to Zeleniko so that way it can go from in progress to completed. Because I have too many in progress things on my to-do list, even though it's much better now than it was before I started part 4. I had a lot of things that are listed as in progress when part 4 started. And then I decided, I should take the time to start doing these. Oh, you know what? I don't know if I ever had record farm on the list, but that's one thing I wanted to do before part 4 was over. The record farm should be rather easy as long as the creepers do not get too close to the player. I think that's where the challenge is going to be. I need to make sure the skelly bums see the player and the creepers. Or I should say, and is in line for the creeper. I just need to make sure that the creepers don't get too close. Decisions. One thing at a time. I have not heard of the 39 clues. That does not at all sound familiar. Alright, so we are gonna have some of this over here. Loading docks are in the back. If this front section is for smaller items, and then this section right here is for the actual checkout lines. So checkout lines, smaller sections, smaller stuff. Other than the edge, because I can have these around here. And this is the part where I grab the goods. Except I think nighttime is approaching, so we'll catch some Z's, reset the weather timer. I feel like I've heard of Accelerated Reader. We might have used their books back in elementary and middle school. And I think, alright. So set that down. We'll just grab 9 stacks of each. I'm probably gonna try not to overdo it on logs, because that's gonna make this expensive. A TNT block you continuously place? Too much effort, I'd say. I'm sure we had their books in school. I just don't know if I was ever paying attention to the branding. So if I had, say, 2 block gap here, I don't think I want to put the shelves right up next against the back wall. If I had 1, because I can make these shelves rather large, like that. We're gonna start here along this backside. I wonder if I can do... Hold on, let me slide these over real fast. I don't think I can have consistent spacing. Yeah, so it's either 6-4-6 or it's 4-6-4. Because otherwise I could do 5-5-5, but the problem is this is all based on even numbers. I do not want to work with even numbers. So based on the appearance, I think I would rather have the larger part of the shelf be in the open and the smaller part of the shelf here where the pillars are at. I'll figure out some sort of go-between. So we are going to have these large shelves lining most of this back wall here. Hello, slime. Excuse me, I'm marking. So I think I'll leave the corner open for now. Oh, here's one set. Ideally, I could fit two. So if I have one set there, and another large shelf here, these would need to be, to have a minimum of 2 block space, they would need to be basically 3 blocks wide. There's gonna be a really thin aisle, that's the only thing. Unless I'm thinking about this backward. Decisions, decisions, decisions. Because I wonder if I should line the shelves the other way. Architects would probably yell at me. No, not even architects, the floor planners. Because if I instead had them being horizontal like this, they would be 2 block space this way. And so, because then that would make this the aisle. And then these two would be here. However, I can make these slightly wider, so instead of being only 3 wide, they could be 4. Since I'm not going all the way to the back wall anyway. I don't have to worry about covering any of the lights. So that would make this the aisle. Another thing is, the shelves are generally, I should say the aisles are generally wider. The Warriors series. I don't know if I've heard of those. I've heard of a series of unfortunate events though. Never read it though. I saw Hiccup. I saw the old movie though. I say old, but it was like 2004, 2006. Hello, howdy to you as well. Maybe what I will do is indeed slide these over. If I made the aisle 4 blocks wide, so then what end up happening is this would be 2 separate shelves right here, but the posts are connected. I mean, your favorite element? Interesting. I don't know if I have a favorite element. Asked me back when I was in middle school trying to memorize a periodic table, I probably would have said one. So this makes the thingy 4 wide. Another 4 wide. Alright, yeah, let me just bring all these together first. This is probably what I'll settle with. Oops. And this will probably be the last one because I don't plan on having any shelves in the back corner. Hello, howdy, welcome to the stream. There you go, now I think we're all set. Oh wait, no, you know what I didn't do? I didn't do any of the singular blocks. Oop. Oh wait, is it nighttime? No, it's not. Do I? No, I don't. I don't have a way to view a clock for free right now. I wonder if Minecraft, or I should say, I wonder if someone made a mod that made the inventory crafting grid 3x3. That way you would never need a crafting table. That's a buzz. It's probably not important though. Nope. Alright. You say iodine because it's consistent? I suppose so. Because I'm used to saying bromine, even though I still say iodine. I think I caught all of these. So now what we're going to do, we're going to start out with one floor of planks right in between. Oops. You say bro mine because you're mining. Interesting. This doesn't cover any lights, right? Nope. Alright, this'll work. You've written entire essays in YouTube Shorts comments. You're one of those people who watches YouTube Shorts. I don't think I'll ever get to them. I'm not the consumer of short-form content. And I realize I missed the planks here. Oops. So keep the space on the side, but not the space in between. I can, well, I can, but I don't watch short-form content because I generally don't watch content. I'd rather listen. I don't want to listen to 150 shorts in a row. I'd rather put on one several hour long video essay. We're gonna hope I can separate these shelves correctly. Thankfully, I don't have to worry about chest placement super because of 1.13. I might stack the chests maybe 2 blocks tall, have 1 block space, and then I'll have the next one. So that would give me each shelf being floor blocks tall. I should be able to fit a fair amount of shelves in here. It's kind of a waste though, the amount of stone I had to lay down, and now I'm gonna be covering a big chunk of the floor. That's okay. Astatine? I guess so. Who decided iodine would be iodine though? That's the question. Yeah, I think now we're gonna build up 4 for each of these. And this is why I primarily wanted to stick to the logs only being for the supports. Chemistry is only weird if you anticipate it to be weird. Okay, now it's turning nighttime. Once I finish this area, we'll catch some Z's and reset the weather timer. I have the bed, right? Yes, I do. It's named after Helios. Interesting. Don't do it, slime. You don't see me. Can you bounce somewhere else? I'm busy here. It's like the construction worker with that one annoying kid who keeps showing up at the work site. I was trying to figure out any sort of comment to make in terms of TV and brain rot, but I never could formulate a proper sentence that would make sense. I was sitting here thinking about it, and I just couldn't piece one together. I was also keeping up on helium, though. Compare and contrast. Ultimate Minecraft particle physics? I guess. Tennessee sounds like Tennessee, but with an N at the end. And I think now we're all set. So if it's one chest, two chest, blank space, this is where we put down the next set of planks. Alright, hold on. No, don't hold on. You can keep thinking about all your stuff. But I need to get all this going. Oh, you know what I realized? I might have run into a slight problem. How do I keep the upper shelves lit up? What is the goal of so-called polyworlds? The goal of any sort of polyworld is to collect terrain generators. I should say that's what creates a polyworld. However, a lot of people go after stuff like discontinued features and whatnot. I'm not focusing on any sort of discontinued features unless they are directly related to terrain generators. Ines, you're welcome to the stream. Building in them would ruin the terrain generation. But if you only ever play a world without doing anything to the terrain, how much gameplay is there? It's still a regular Minecraft world, you can do all the terraforming you want. But what was the natural generation as it started? Alright, let's get rid of all this. If you inhale it, you sound like Michael Jackson. Hee hee. That was rather funny, I say. 10 seconds behind. Make sure for everyone, make sure the live button at the bottom left of the video when you hover or tap is red. That will minimize latency. Oop. Wait, did I just spend all the planks I had? It took me 9 stacks of planks, and I only created the shelf 1 block tall. Well, I should say 1 layer tall. Huh. I feel this is gonna be expensive. Some of the old terrain generators are set amounts. Anything from Classic and InDev was limited in world size, but from InfDev and later, the amount of terrain I have is from whatever I generated. I do have a lot of unused terrain in alpha and early release, just from me traveling long distances without really doing anything. Yeah, for Classic and InDev, I only have 256 by 256 per each terrain generator, which was 15 different worlds. I don't know how many chunks. Pre-Classic, I lump in the Classic because I think I have 2 official pre-Classic worlds. The third world was 11A, I think. I only have millions of beta 1.7 blocks, just not currently in active use. Not even hundreds of chunks, it's thousands. I want to say it's, in fact, like 1,600 something regions, maybe. I don't remember. Well, let me think. If the consumer is here, we would need... What's the optimal way to do this? Is it just straight up something like this? Oh, in fact, I can fit 3. I can fit 3 double chests. Hooray! Thank you, 1.13. That's a feature I wanted for a good long while. I could move it backward and only take up the 2 central slots. This will give a little more depth. Oops. Hold up. Yeah, except now I need to be smart with how I'm placing these to get the double chests how I want them. There we go. The concept of polyworlds are interesting. Ever since 2021 or so, there were some older, but starting around 2022, people started really creating a lot of the different through the version series. They are popular, they're just not mainstream. Because there's a lot of series that have been created over the past few years that go through different old versions. And those were all the chests I had. Well, since I know what I'm doing, I could still focus on the shelves first. Drop chests were 1.5, I thought. Not 1.4, because they were added with the other redstone stuff. Alright, so we have one row here. Let me add... It's called Polon. Interesting. In fact, here, how about I move this here since this is the aisle? So this is where I have one set of shelves. We're gonna keep this part open. Let me think. So that one is nothing. This one is the checkout lines. This one is the small stuff. This midsection is also going to be small stuff. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then I think I'll have maybe 2 of these dedicated to open over here, which means I could start working on the extra layer here. I greatly prefer old Minecraft over new Minecraft. I much prefer the older versions. The gameplay is better suited to what I enjoy. Did I do that right? I think I did. And then this one's going to be another double. In fact, here, let me just place down all of these real fast. And then in the back, I'll probably keep that shelf there along with one on the other side. And so the last one we have is over here. It makes sense that it uses the same tile entity. Saves on data. Just keep the format the same. The only difference is when... I should say, other than the texture, the only other difference would be functionality of sending out a redstone signal. The Xbox 360, since that was the oldest legacy console version, started out in beta 1.6. It had several different terrain generators, but not as many as Java. And so from the other later legacy console versions that came out after 360, they had less terrain generators, but still mostly the same as what 360 had. If without is not the opposite of within, wouldn't it just be out? The opposite of without is with. I don't know, that's another English thing. It was, so Legacy Console initially did have the same as Java, but eventually they added options to control biome scale and other stuff, I think. There was biome scale, and later Legacy Console versions also had a way to control the world size. Whereas older consoles did not have the ability to control the world size. But otherwise, the terrain itself was mostly the same. There are smaller differences, but otherwise, it was very, very similar to Java, to the point where you could use Java seeds, and it would be, the terrain itself would be close enough, even though structure generation was different. Not mocking against your favorite game. What was that a joke for? I feel like there's a message I'm not seeing. Low taper fade? Is that some kind of haircut? You poorly timed that. Oh, because there wasn't a message from you for a while, so I couldn't figure out what the context was. You can still include legacy console terrain if you use later terrain. The terrain itself will still be different because in the early versions of the 360 edition, the terrain would always fade off at the edge of the world. The terrain would always slope down to the ocean. The 360 world was always surrounded by ocean with the stone floor, but the original terrain that came with it was modified so that way it would be different from Java in that instead of just having the land cut off, it would slope downward to create a better transition. Eventually they removed that. I think including console terrain is still worth it, especially since the 360 edition had only about 75 or so versions to play through. I think it'd be worth including anyway. Will a guy bestow some knowledge of old Minecraft? Random fact. The original cactus used to be a full block. It would also deal half a heart of damage when you tried to break it. Hello. And yes, howdy Paul, welcome back. I don't know if Minecraft's ever gonna have... You know, that's not true. Minecraft very well might have an advanced audio system that includes reverberation. I feel like measuring the space would be hard on a procedural world, though. Fixed terrain glitches or edges? Well, technically the monolith is a terrain glitch. Chunk borders are not a glitch. That's I would say intentional feature, but that's just how things work. If you're talking about the terrain being different at the edges, the only way to do that is if you kept every world separate until 1.18 and then brought them all together. Because 1.18 added chunk smoothing. or chunk blending. There's a lot of different conversations going on. What a very active day. See, I'm telling you, Mondays are busy days, and Fridays are quiet. More knowledge. Right around instead 616, the trees would generate without the logs. The leaves would replace the logs, and so you'd get trees generating with only 1 or 2 logs, and the rest was just leaves. Notch quickly fixed that, but I don't know why you let that happen in the first place. You can do it manually. You can, once the terrain is generated and you're at a chunk border, you could just clean it up yourself. Because by that point, you've already visited those chunks. They've been written to disks. They're not like chunks at the very edge where there's the chance that they still need to be populated. I don't know what sort of knowledge I'd be able to whip out that nobody else would be unlikely to know. Because if you're watching my videos, there's a good chance you're already familiar with old versions. So a lot of this stuff you'd probably already know. I don't know what the state of the wiki is nowadays. I don't know what the wiki says these days. I used to use it a lot more before I discovered how inaccurate it was. And then eventually people finally started going through and fixing it up. And something seems off. Why do I have 4? We should have 8. Oh, maybe not. The only wiki that was griefed was the fandom. It was just inaccurate before, and then we made the switch. And so, hope these logs have to move. When we made the switch, the fandom was ruined, and so now the new wiki is much cleaner. You can include recreated versions in your Polyworld. There are several versions out there that have been recreated that we do not have, that have unique terrain generators, I think. Well, a big example is 14A. The trees in 14A, 0.0.14A for Classic, had trees that were completely cubes. The leaves on them were completely cubed. The only 14A version that we have is 14A08. Whereas the tree shape is a little bit different. But yeah, if you look into I think it's Minecraft Recreation Project, that has all of the versions that we do not have as recreations, if you wanted different terrain generators. I only have, that's not true, I don't have any recreation terrain on this world. However, I used a saving mod for instead 325, since that version does not normally save. And so I was able to acquire some of the 325 terrain on here. I don't know how common that is. Anyways, back to reading. Vanilla 325 has degrading performance because I'm pretty sure it's flowers. Flowers would generate in darkness. They don't like being in darkness, so they pop off, become an item. And then over time, those items just start stacking up. So you end up with a bunch of flowers stealing performance. I did indeed, somewhat in a way, contribute to the recreation project. Somewhere in there, I'm referenced. Another fortress chest from 1.9 and waiting all the way until 1.20. People would have to be very patient for that, or just not explore. Some of the Steve block placing code might have been reused for Enderman. Or it could have just been done differently. How complicated would it be to decide where exactly to place a block? And we're out of wood again. Oop. Oh wait, was that right? Yeah, just kidding. Those were supposed to be there because that's the midpoint. Oh, you know what's not right though? This has to move. That's what I was getting confused with. I'm not building IKEA. I'm building Zeleneko. If you disagree, hold on. We're gonna head out front real fast. Yeah, we're not building in IKEA. If I look inside here, what does the sign say? Zeleneko. Nice big colorful letters. Based on the real world Costco, even though it's supposed to be sort of like a Walmart, then I ended up not doing this. Alright, forward we go. I don't know how many 1.9 chests I have. I don't keep track of terrain enough. And yeah, let me grab the last of these planks. Yeah, from 1.9 to 1.15. That's rather extensive. There might be one. I've probably loaded up terrain in 1.9. Overworld terrain, I should say. The thing with 1.16 is that the nether terrain has changed, because at that point it's the new nether with the armor trims, not the old nether with the armor trims. The chances of me exploring dungeons that were generated 1.9 and later, that I have or I will be exploring in 1.18 and later, I feel is rather low. Yeah, 1.7, I should say 1.8 and earlier, all that loot was pre-generated, so that's where it's stuck with. You're welcome to include custom terrain generators for mods and whatnot in your Polyworld, as it is your own world. There's an entire video I made not too long ago. I described all the different types of Polyworlds, mostly. I say mostly because there are still scenarios on there that were not mentioned, such as stuff like different seeds and the different biome scales for console, custom superflats, amplified. Because at that point, you start entering the area of the degrees of complication starts growing. Dungeon strongholds in ancient cities. At some point, I'll get other side. Which reminds me, hopefully soon, I'll finally sit down and listen to Minecraft's music that came out in 1.13 and later. You would include Superflat by combining worlds. You'd have to figure out chunk placement though. MCA selector should be able to move chunks and regions around. Will probably not update command blocks though. I want to say MCA was smart about updating command block positions. Super flat wouldn't be an underground pit. Super flat would be a very, very low part of the world, assuming you import it at the exact same Y level. Otherwise, having all that terrain would allow you to take advantage of very, very tall buildings relative to the land behind it. If you think all the small things on the other side would work well together, it's not too hard to download both audio tracks from YouTube and then plop them into something like Audacity or Resolve. And why do I feel like I'm missing logs? For some reason, I keep ending up with 4 extra. Did I just forget somewhere? Because I don't know how this happened. My first introduction to Minecraft was my cousin playing it on his iPad on May 9th, 2012. My iPod Touch was too old, so I couldn't get it on there. Instead, I acquired the better version, Java Edition, on my old laptop. Untrium was a placeholder name. I want to say the rest of those all were given official names by now. Because the last 8 or so elements on the periodic table had unofficial names until they were officially discovered, I believe. I don't know if it still has a placeholder name, but that's one of them, at least. Alright, so what I need is more wood because these shelves are only 1 layer tall. Yeah, all the planks I have is currently in my inventory. Alright, well, anyways, maybe what I need to do is start placing these sections in the middle on this side, and that's where I'll figure out why I have 4 extra. Hiccup. Not every element was named after who discovered it, and was indeed named in honor of people. I don't know, though, don't quote me on that. Well, maybe that's how I have 4 extra, because the singles... Not important, I'm figuring out math. I don't know if there's such a thing as block placement theory, but that's kind of what I'm doing. Why do certain patterns produce certain designs? Oh, I know why. It's because those are doubles over there, but on this side I use singles. I get it now. Which means, technically, this double should be cut in half to give the complete section. That's where I have 4 extra. Right here. Alright, there we go. Let's see if I did that correctly. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, cool. A real umpire. This world has been huge for a while. If you're talking about file size, it's still rather small compared to what it could be when I have all the nether chunks included. I don't know how much of an opinion I have for modern Minecraft for the reason of I've played very little survival after 1.17, and 1.17 is already 4 years old. How much? I have about 85 gigabytes of nether chunks that I don't back up every time because I don't need that taking up SSD space. And I don't need that taking up backup space per backup. And so right now the world itself is only 12 gigabytes, compressed down to about 7.5. Apparently, you know what this low taper fade thing is that Ian was talking about, because I don't know, other than some sort of haircut. It sounds like a haircut. Alright, well now I'm at 12. Oh wait, hold on. This is a single. Double, double. Okay, here's where I went wrong. This is supposed to be conab as well. Do you know what the file size limit for GitHub is? I want to say it's 5 gigabytes. You can make arrangements with GitHub and say, hey, I need more space. But it's intended for small projects. Generally. For average consumers, I should say. You'd have to look back into the details, but there's 5 gigabytes or less, unless if you talk to GitHub, request more space. 2 gigabytes, even less than 5. Your world is under 2 gigabytes? Oh, that's right, because you're not an explorer. All of my 2 gigabyte worlds I haven't played much on. I have so much to do, and I require new areas to reach. Use a special file system, it's 100 megabytes. I thought it was like 100 megabytes per file. I don't think Minecraft region files are that large. I thought the Minecraft region files were maybe 50 megabytes or less. If students are inventors in Zelanator 1, am I a student or am I an inventor? Is this a trick question? Oh, if F students. I thought that was a typo. Probably because it wasn't capitalized. I don't think I was an F student. I've probably gotten Fs before. But that's not what any of my final grades were. I successfully graduated all 12 years. I guess 13. I think we had kindergarten graduation. Okay, yeah, 100 megabytes per file. Yeah, if you keep the world itself uncompressed, each region file, I should say each anvil file, should not be that large. Hold on, I have 6 year. You have failed a class. Did you have to retake the class next year? I don't know if I failed a class, but I have indeed failed quarters. All right, let me think. I need to make sure that this is together. You didn't have to retake it? No. Don't worry. If you ever, if your future profession doesn't care about your grades, then it's not going to matter. And I'm trying to think If I have one... No, I don't have any aisles. Huh. It just occurred to me, I don't have any way to pass through here normally unless I try to squeeze through, but this isn't an aisle. This is a just empty workspace. This is a proper aisle, except I can only have the one vertical aisle. The rest are horizontal. I used to earn money from YouTube, and then one day they said, sorry, you need 1,000 subscribers to be monetized, and so I stopped earning money from YouTube. I want to say it's a whopping $2.51 over the span of the 8 months, I think. 8 or 9 months I was monetized. This was back in 2016. It was a long time ago. I'm pretty confident if I applied for monetization now, I'd be rejected for the reason of constant reuse of thumbnails, descriptions, and titles. Where's the originality? The originality is each 2-hour episode. But people from YouTube aren't going to check each 2-hour episode. Therefore, I don't plan on applying. Save myself the rejection letter. But yeah, I should say I reached monetization requirements when I hit 1,000 subscribers because I already had enough watch time by then. I wasn't looking at consistency in the guidelines. That's not what I saw the emphasis on. That's important, but not what the person who verifies whether or not the channel can be monetized or not. The official requirements list more than titles. Descriptions and thumbnails were included. I don't know how much descriptions were, but I know thumbnails for sure. They look at where your most amount of watch time comes from. They check where your most recent watch time has come from, and they verify the metadata for the videos and check out a few specific ones for quality control. I never made an Eats Road because I'm not enough interested to watch any of Etho's content to know how he used to do stuff back in the day, even though I'm pretty sure it was a bunch of flowing water and pressure plates on one side so that way the water always flowed forward. I never did that on here because I wasn't using boats back then. They were too annoying. I would say I wasn't using boats for transportation across anything that wasn't an ocean. When I reach 2,000, I should try. I don't expect to do any sort of changes. I just want to make the content, which is why I'm a terrible PR person, because I also don't advertise my stuff. Did you know I've had a Patreon for the past 8 years? Every once in a while I talk about it, particularly when I'm mentioning how much I don't talk about it. Yeah, another reason why I also never made Eats Roads was because I'd rather use minecart boosting. Minecart boosting was around for long enough of a time that I would rather use that. Plus, it's an automatic system. You know, I guess if the boats go forward, then they will always go straight. Job. I don't have a job. I make YouTube videos. I write books. That's not true. I've written one book. I've written multiple books. I have one published, I should say. I make music. I publish video games. Even though I'm only at 2 so far, and one of them is actually paid. I don't like boats enough, which is another reason why I don't care enough to utilize them. The goal to not making money is to not have to spend money. I do make video games. I've been a game developer since 2016. Way back on my channel, you can find videos for early development versions of Independence. One day I'll finish Independence, but I needed smaller projects. I do eat food. Alright, I'm trying to find out what's the next optimal area to build shelves in, because I'm kind of thinking right around here is where I'll put the smaller stuff. I don't want chests sitting on the floor though, and I'm trying not to take up too much of the central aisle, because I at least need the aisle back here, so if I were to leave this open, I might be able to do something. Decisions, decisions, decisions. Am I completely out of planks? Did I spend 100% of the planks I have? The questions y'all are asking make it sound like I take part in regular society. You need to outsmart and not be a part of the system if you want to live the life that you feel is better suited for you. Therefore, I'll focus on content creation for as long as I can continue to do so, because that's more fulfilling. If each chest is sets of 3, that one's 6 right there, which means ignoring that. Oh, that doesn't answer the question of how I get food. I guess the question, or I should say the answer is I would indeed rely on other folks. Alright, if I leave that one here, I'd probably have another set here. As long as this is divisible by 2. I don't live with my parents. My mom passed away back in November. It's just my dad and I. Remember, Ian? You were the one that had the realization recently saying that one day your parents are not going to be here. I'm not living in the basement. I still have my own room. We don't even have a basement here. Terribly misspelled. Don't worry, that's fine. Everyone misspells Zelinator. And I realize it's bedtime. Let me catch some Z's, reset the weather timer. We don't have a basement or an attic. I don't know how common those are. I feel like basements are more common than attics. Alright, so there's one central aisle. I think I can probably fit another couple over here. I'm thinking of having the chests be too wide, since this is not an official lock space. For several minutes overtime. Oh, you're right. I wasn't paying attention to the time. I was trying to process how to efficiently answer these questions. Yeah, we are indeed all at the end for today. So we'll be back again tomorrow. So your final thoughts now as I wrap up with the last of these planks here. Alright, there we go. So I'll keep working on these. We're almost done. Hopefully these small shelves don't look terrible. But yeah, one thing at a time. Thank you all for watching. Bye.